welcome to A Righteous Woman. My name is Saini and I am your host, and very soon you'll get to meet our beautiful panelists. Since this is our very first show, we are all going to have the opportunity to introduce ourselves, but we're going to do something quite different. We're going to introduce each other. So I have the pleasure of introducing Abish, who is there in the white. Here we go. So Abish is 34. Yep, 34. She's 34 years old. She is the eldest of 6 children. She has a beautiful 18-month-year-old daughter. That didn't make sense, but that's okay. And she's married to her handsome Tongan husband. You may have seen him on our TikTok. We featured him right at the end of the TikTok. So he's the he is her husband. And so she also loves the color turquoise, and she loves eating salmon. And I'm just gonna say she likes doing TikToks. She doesn't, but she does. All right, so now I'll pass time over to you, A, to introduce our next panelist.
Cool, so I'm introducing the beautiful Fussy, who's down in the green, or in front of the green. So Fussy's favorite color is green. That's why she's sitting in front of that wall. She's 32 years young. She's a teacher, although she never wanted to be a teacher, but now she's got her sights set on becoming a principal. She's single, still looking for her Prince Charming. Her favorite animal are lions, and she's from the beautiful kingdom of Tonga. Her hobbies are eating, Korean movies, and the spoken word. So that is our beautiful Fussy.
Yay.
Yay.
Thanks, Abish. Awesome introduction of me, and so very true, except some parts in there. But I would like to introduce our lovely, amazing Irene. Irene is there. She will wave right now. Yep. So that's Irene, and Irene is married to the lovely Tau Maunga. They have 11 children, and 8 girls and 3 boys. Her favorite color is purple. And she also has a nickname that's only it's only her siblings call her that, so you're not allowed to know what it is. And her favorite, she likes all foods. She wouldn't give me a favorite, so she just likes to eat whatever food is available. Oh, that sounds wrong. She doesn't have a favorite is what I'm saying. And she is a lovely, bubbly lady that I just got to know and feel very privileged to be now friends with. Over to you, Irene.
Oh, thank you. Thanks, Fussy. So I'm going to introduce our beautiful Tongan sister, Gladys. If you can give us a wave, Gladys, because she's wearing a multicolored top. Gladys is 32 years young. She was born and raised in Auckland, New Zealand, Riwahad. She has a lovely Tongan husband. She has a beautiful daughter. Her favorite food is avocado and bread. So shout out to those that love the avocado and bread. She also works for the Ministry of Justice from home. And she loves dancing, especially Polynesian dancing. And that's our beautiful Gladys.
Thanks, Irene. I will be introducing our beautiful, lovely host. Her name is Saini Naunau. She is a mother of 2, and she has the 3rd one on the way. Probably twins, I'm not sure.
Oh, there we go. Speak life into it.
She's married to her beautiful, lovely Samoan warrior, Fame Naunau, and her favorite hobbies, she loves to bake. She loves to eat her mom's baking. She loves to read books, and her favorite color is pink. And she's also an event stylist from home.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Wow, we all know each other. I love that. And I also forgot to mention, sorry, Abe, I forgot to mention your nationality. So hopefully I get this right. Abish is Samoan, Maori, Chinese, and Egyptian. Is that right?
Almost, but it's okay.
Yeah, we're gonna go with that. So that's Avish's nationality. All right. So now that you've all, now that you know us a little bit more, we're going to go into the show. And today we're going to be talking about something that everyone is going through right now, the pandemic that has changed people's lives. So I'm going to start off with, who should I? Let's start off with Gladys. Gladys, how did you feel when New Zealand got its first case of COVID-19 and the build up to level 4?
To be honest, I was actually in Australia during the time, and then so it didn't really hit me until I returned back into New Zealand and was told I had to isolate for 14 days. So then during the isolation period, New Zealand went into level 4, and then we became in lockdown as a nation. So I just thought I'm already used to it. So it was nothing. It was, to be surprisingly, I was actually really calm. Those were just some of the feelings that I was going through at the time, because to me, it was just hard to comprehend that this was happening in New Zealand. Like, yeah. What's your thoughts on that?
I gotta agree with Gladys on that. It was kind of surreal. The whole thing was very surreal. We watch these things happen all the time overseas, and who would have thought that a little virus from China would have traveled all the way all over the world and made it to New Zealand, because we're so far away from everyone. So I absolutely agree with Gladys. It was weird, kind of surreal thing to comprehend that it was here, but at the same time, I felt really at peace. There were heaps of things that were up in the air regarding work. We knew we were going to start having church at home, which was kind of a strange new thing too, but I felt at peace with the whole thing. I felt like it was meant to be. So yeah.
Mine was maybe a little bit different, but I actually had a little cry, like not a bawling cry, but like I shed a few tears. But I think it was because everything just hit me. Like I was quite shocked when I found out we're going into level 4, and I was slightly panicking, like, am I ready? So I had a little cry, tiny cry, and then said a prayer, and I felt that peace after, which I'm grateful for. But yeah, I was quite shocked initially, and I've gotten better over time. But yeah, that was my initial, what happened to me.
I just felt like Fusi, how surreal it was, but how fast it happened, like real quick.
Yeah.
But really grateful to our Prime Minister, just the quickest, how quickly she just got things done, lockdown. So yeah, just hearing that, like yourself, Gladys, my daughter was in Australia too. And so when she came back home, she was on lockdown for 14 days. And I've heard stories of how hard it can be to just stay in your room. That's what we did. We prepared her room. She had her own bathroom, and we're like, yeah, you're not coming near us for 14 days. So that was, it makes us so much more real. And for me, it's just not being able to know or even see or be around my other children that are not around me, that are in different parts of the country or overseas. Yeah.
Nice.
Thank you. So I think it's true to say that everyone had a different reaction to COVID-19. And I want to ask Fusi, since going into lockdown and everything that's happening around us, has there anything that you've been doing more of, less of, or stopped doing since lockdown?
Yeah, so probably the first thing is that I went for a walk around the block for the first time in years. Because we're not allowed to go anywhere to exercise. Not that I went anywhere to exercise anyway, but I made it out of the house once this week, so that's a one thing I haven't done in a long time that I managed to do, which was nice. One thing that I think has been, I guess, something about lockdown is that, like, I'm spending more time on social media, and I know I can control that, but I choose not to, so I just keep scrolling unnecessarily. But one thing that's been really cool about lockdown though is that just being able to do some things around the house that I normally don't have time to do, and so that's been a blessing, I think, in disguise, is having time to do those things. So that's a few things that have been different or they have happened as a result of lockdown for me. What about you guys?
Traveling less. I like that. Not spending so much money every single day on gas. And I don't know if you've noticed, but the petrol has gone down.
Yeah.
It's
Petrol
got
price
funny,
has
we
gone
can't go.
down. But yeah, it's just been nice having my husband spending more time with our children. We're always busy with our children, especially our high school kids with the things that they've got going on. Sports-wise, we both, I manage a rugby team. He coaches a high school rugby team. And it's just been really nice to just be home, you know what I'm saying? And just be around each other. And it's, my household is always loud. So even though 3 have flown the coup, you know, they've got their own families and one's serving a mission, it's still noisy. But I love it because it's not quiet, you know. They find things to do. The latest thing fad in my house right now is Monopoly and playing euchre. So yeah, my husband comes home and he's like got the cards ready, got the Monopoly ready. So it's actually pretty cool. I like it. Yeah.
We've been playing Uno at our house.
Nice.
And Sequence.
And Body Combat. Oh my gosh. Body Combat's killing me, guys.
How about you, Abish?
We've been doing more family workouts, which has been cool because we used to do that when we first got married and when we were dating, but then it somehow just stopped. But yeah, we've been doing workouts. But the cool thing is my daughter, like seeing her when we work out, she's only 18 months and she's trying to do push-ups and do different things. And that's something I want to keep doing so that she can, you know, try and live a healthy life. So that's probably one thing we've been doing more of. Definitely watching a few more TV series more than usual. But one surprising thing that we've been doing less of is arguing. We don't argue all the time, but we actually have been arguing less. And I think that we're just more conscious, we're in our bubble. We can't go anywhere. I can't go have fun or whatever. So we're like, there was this one day we said, okay, we're going to be kind and loving the whole day. And it was actually really cool because we were trying to really be conscious of it. So that's been something that we've done less of, which is, yeah, been awesome.
Oh, that's funny you say that, Abish, because especially when you live in a big household full of people, like you have to be more mindful of what you do around the house, whether, you know, just trying to keep peace with your husband or your relationship with your siblings. But yeah, it's funny. And like you said about the workout, working out together as a family, usually me and my husband, we go to the gym, we do our own thing. But just being able to come home and work out together as a family with my daughter as well, it's awesome. Sorry about the background. That's what happens when you have a household full of bodies.
Happens when no one can go anywhere. I love that. All right. Fussy, could you tell us if you've received any inspirations during this time or impressions?
Inspiration regarding
anything to do with your life?
Like anything? I thought you were asking for something specific. Yes, I have had 2 main things that have been clear and reoccurring thoughts that have come to me during this time. Usually my life is like a blur, like I just go constantly, and having this time, like downtime, to really reflect has been good because I've realized the first thing, which is about how happy I can be with a simple life. And by simple life, I mean just my family and my faith. Those are the 2 things that I think have really stuck out as my pillars of my well-being, is connected to my family and my faith. And how if I keep my life simple, which is if it's helpful to build my family or helpful to build my faith, then it's worth giving time to. And if it isn't building any of those 2 things, then it's not kind of important. That's what's become very clear to me because that's all I have right now in lockdown. And the second thing is about being grateful, gratitude. So I used to keep a gratitude journal, and I stopped for a long time. I think the last time I wrote in it was like 3 years ago. Not that I haven't been grateful in those 3 years, I have. But I picked it up a few nights ago. Oh, Heavenly Father knows I've been praying and being grateful. But I picked up my gratitude journal just a few nights ago. I think it was probably on Sunday, and I wrote in it for the first time. And like during a time like this, I think in crisis is when we really start to realize and reevaluate and reassess things. And as I was thinking about it on Sunday, I started to think about what I was grateful for. And even though these are the circumstances, I still have a lot to be grateful for. So that's been some two things that I've been thinking about during this time.
Nice.
Sorry, Irene, did you have something to say?
No, but just that from what Fusi shared, it is we're very simple people here in my household, but it's just been nice, and it's just sometimes I feel like it's just a shame it's taken a lockdown to make me think, oh my gosh, this is what time is to spend with your family means, and I've really enjoyed the time so far. Like, we're so busy, we're always busy. Like, even with, in our church, when we do our services to others, we tend to forget home sometimes. And so one of the things that I know that has happened in my family, especially with me and my husband, is to be more aware, to be more self-reliant, to be prepared. And so that's something that we want to really work on and get better at in our home, is to make sure that we're better prepared. Yeah.
I love that. And I love that not only you two, but so many other people are going through the same thing. Like, life is so fast. Like, you go to work, you do this, and all of a sudden it's nighttime, then sleep, get up, do the same thing again. And now everyone has just been, forced to slow down, right? Slow down and spend time with the people that love you. So I really love that as well. And so I want to speak to the viewers just now, and I want to open it up, to the panel. So what would you say to the viewers who are currently struggling in terms of providing food and necessities for their family, or they've lost their job, domestic violence, some people who are going through that, or even parents that are struggling with homeschooling?
For the food one, on social media, they've got a lot of sites there, or links that you can actually click on if you need help. Certainly, I know that for our church, there's also, because I know that the leaders in our church in my area, they've put a link on for anyone that needs help, and it's pretty cool, and even for us, if we know that we know somebody that's struggling, to open up our cupboards, if we can do that, to just help help our neighbor, which would be really cool. That's just my thoughts on that.
Yeah, I think it's important. I've seen a few posts on Facebook where people are saying, contact me, even just discreetly, if you need help. And I think for those who may be struggling, it's nothing to be ashamed of if you need help, and to ask a friend or ask someone for help, because that way that person can be a blessing, but they can also help you out. So both people are being benefited from giving. And so, this is not the time to suffer in silence, but to be unified and have blessings poured out upon the giver and the receiver.
Yeah.
I would just say, be kind to one another. It's a lot easier to be kind than it is to be mean. And just look after yourselves, look after one another, check in on our elderly, our grandparents, those who are staying at home by themselves. Like, check in on your friends every now and then. Use this time to just, reach out to those that you maybe have been disconnected with for some time. But be kind to yourself also. What some of the things I like to do is just play with makeup and get ready and dress up for free just to watch Netflix and chill. And you know, a lot of people be like, you know, why are you putting lipstick on? What's the purpose of you dressing up? And then, you know, might as well do a TikTok while you're at it with your children.
I like that, Gladys, because my husband, after our TikTok, he said, "You look really pretty."
Oh, nice.
My sister, she when I video call her, she's like, "Why is it that every time you video call, your makeup is on point? You're on lockdown." I'm like, oh, tough love.
That's
So,
cool. I love that, you know, dressing up, staying positive, being kind, because now that's all people can do now, right? Is just be kind to people, especially in the supermarkets with the long lines. But I
long
want to
line.
touch on domestic violence, because I know there's been a rise on domestic violence. Do you have any advice for our viewers and also the parents who may be struggling with homeschooling?
I'm gonna comment on the homeschooling thing. If there are parents out there that are kind of panicking because the school term starts next week, I think on Wednesday. So in terms of homeschooling, I know for parents it might be difficult. They might be a bit worried about if they're gonna be able to help their child with their schoolwork. My advice would be just to keep it simple. So whatever work teachers have given online for your student or for your child to do, keep it simple this way, which is find a way to access the work. And if you don't know how to access it, contact someone at the school and they will give you instructions on how to access the work. Once you get to the work, if your son does, your son, I work at a boys' school, which is why I said son, but if your child doesn't understand the work, then ask for help. So just keep reaching out. Us as teachers, like for me personally, I'm going to be online to answer any questions that the students may have, but also like parents that ask me questions, I will reply to them too. So it's a kind of a strange thing, because for many of us, and I'm going to talk specifically about the school that I teach at. For our school, which is a Dessau 1 school in South Auckland, a lot of students don't have devices, so and a lot of homes don't have internet. And so how do you do work? And that's the tricky thing. That's being worked out by the Ministry of Education. They're trying to get some either hard copy resources or devices to students. But until then, just do what you can. And if there's not much that you can do, don't panic. Just ask for help. Ask for help. I would say keep it simple. Contact the school and ask for help. You can do it. Do as much as you can to help your child, and then if you can't do any more than what you're capable of, just wait, just leave it till your child goes back to school to finish or complete that. But I'm sure you'll be able to do it, so ask for help.
I like that, Fusi. I say that because with myself, I still have school children, and you know, my son, I've got my youngest boy, he's at intermediate, his last year in intermediate, and he's one of the very few that doesn't have the Chromebook. And I specifically said no because it's expensive, but I like how you said that for these hard copies. So the day after the schools closed, I was really grateful for the intermediate school. They put it up on social media that they've got the hard copy packs, come and pick it up. And so I was really grateful for that. And not only that, like I was grateful for your advice to just keep it simple and that it's okay. And I think that because of this lockdown, it's also forced us parents to be more involved with their schoolwork. And so I'm really big on, in my household, I'm very big on education. And we usually do summer school, like, you know, when they go on holidays at Christmas, we do summer school. We keep going until after Christmas and they get that break before school starts. And I really enjoyed just recently my home, they're starting to do their, the older girls will challenge the younger ones and doing their times tables and things like that. Just like you said, just find something simple, something fun. you know, for your kids. So yeah, that's something that we're doing in our household, which is really cool.
I mean, I just want to respond real quickly to Irene. I don't think that, so I just want parents to understand that we don't expect, and we as in like teachers, we don't expect you to like teach the whole curriculum while your kids are at home. So that's what I mean by keep it simple. Don't panic. Just do what you can, do whatever's online if you can do that. If not, find some exercises that you can do with your child, but don't panic about it. You know, we don't expect you to teach the curriculum. And if we did, then we should give our pay to you because you're now doing our job. But no, I'll keep my pay. So, just come online.
I'll wait for the paycheck.
I would like to keep my pay.
I love that. And I'm going to just step in and give a shout out to all the teachers, especially our beautiful Fussy who's on with us. A shout out to all the teachers who are working so hard behind the scenes. Even now that it's school holidays, they're trying to get all the students on track to start learning online. So just shout out to you guys, clapping. Thank you very much. Yeah, you guys are awesome. You guys are amazing. Thank you. Abish and Gladys, do you have anything you want to add to this?
Yeah, it just reminded me, I remember my nephews and niece, my mom was telling me that when they first heard about COVID-19 and that they weren't going to school, I heard that they were panicking a little bit, and my sister did a really good job of calming them down. And I remember reading something from a principal from a school. They sent a letter out and it said, you know, don't worry if you're having a hard time, like Fussy was saying, don't worry about your children's, you know, learning and having to teach them everything at the moment. They will catch up. They'll, you know, teachers will help them learn, but now is the time to also look at their mental health, make sure they're having an enjoyable time, because, you know, they may look back 10 years from now, 20 years from now and think, that was the best time of my life. I had my mom at home, my dad at home, we ate together, we played together, like we watched movies, we had Easter, like that was the best time of my life. And so this is a time to really cherish having your kids at home and just have fun with them. They will learn, you know, they're smart, they have an amazing brain, they will catch up, but this is the time to really love your children and make sure they're having a great time, look after their mental health.
Yeah, I really like that too. It's awesome. There's so many ideas as well that I've been picking up just on social media, social network platforms. You can find so many fun things to do, like even as simple as eating cereal, taking out the Cocoa Pops or the Nutri-Grain and saying 2 of these plus these 2 and then equals how many, and then just getting, you know, just seeing my 5-year-old daughter, you know, we're not encouraged to play with our food or anything, but you know, that's how she I've made learning fun for her. But I really liked it. And just laughing at some of the memes on social network as well about, you know, the things that the teachers go through where you think your child is like a perfect child until, you know, they're at home with you under your care like 24/7 and you realize, oh my goodness, now I know what their teacher's going through. So all the teachers out there.
Yeah. Definitely shout out to the teachers. And so just thinking about all your answers and going from my first question about how we felt when we first heard about COVID-19, and I can say that everyone's life has been flipped upside down, but instead of focusing on the negative, we've chosen to focus on the positive, you know, like our families have been able to spend time together, and just like Abe said, eating together as a family. Some people don't even do that, and now they have been able to spend more time together, homeschooling our kids. Now more than ever, I appreciate the teachers so much. I appreciate the teachers so much. So just learning to be teachers to them and keeping it simple. I love that, and asking for help, you know, not being shy. And I know sometimes as Islanders, we find it quite shaming to ask for help, but let's not make that the case, you know. Not only asking for help with schooling, but even with food. If you're struggling, and below this this post, we're going to add in links of where you're able to go to get help for food, get help for domestic violence, and even other ideas for homeschooling. But it's been covered. Does anyone want to say anything before we wrap up today?
No.
I think one thing, just what you were saying, Saini, about helping others, you know, sometimes our guardian angels are people that we know, and so let them help. Ask for help and let them help you, because I'm ready to help someone, but sometimes I don't know who needs help. You just need to ask, and I'm not going to look down upon you. I'm going to be really happy to share. And so try and use the guardian angels that are around us, that know you and love you, because they really do want to help. They don't want to see you suffer.
I just was thinking about the word hope. I think in times of crisis, that word goes out the window. Like, we lose hope in a lot of things. And I'm just really feeling for people who may have lost their job and their livelihood and being able to provide for their families. I don't have answers to that, but I do want to say, just to find hope and that there will be something in the future for you. I feel to say, I think that and talking about that too, I just wanted to make a comment about young people. And I think parents, because you have the time now, use it to get to know the young people in your home. I always find it very interesting when the young people appear one way on social media but are actually very different in person. And I think that's really a result of social media, is where they find all the they're looking for love, and maybe it's because the way they need to receive it, we're not giving it to them. And so I just want to challenge the parents out there to really get to know your son or your daughter that's maybe teenage years. Kind of get to know, you have time now. You don't have an excuse to say I don't have time. You have all the time in the world now. Get to know them, actually find out how they're doing. And I think there's a difference between trying to be their friend and being their parent. I'm not saying be their friend. I'm absolutely saying still be their parent. But young people need to know that of all people, you've got their back. And often you assume that they know that. I mean, you tell them that by providing a roof over their heads, giving them food to eat, putting clothes on their back. But often they need to hear it. So find the time to get to know your young people in your home, and stay hopeful for those out there that have lost jobs. Or I feel for you, and stay hopeful that God will provide something. He always does.
Nice.
I love that. So the challenge has been set by our beautiful teacher. So get to know your children, and to make the effort, because she's absolutely right. They need to know that you have their back as their parents or their caregivers. So thank you very much for tuning in to our first ever episode. How do you feel? All right.
Dinner now.
Yeah, now we can breathe a little bit since we've gotten past our first one. But tune in for our next episode. We will drop a new episode every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Right here on this page. But until then, this is A Righteous Woman. Bye.
Bye.